lot of people that need their abilities stretched to the limits.
I feel like they should be able to do more, and there is something getting in the way of them fulfilling their potential.
I really need something to pick me up because I'm tired. So I bought a bottle of and it tasted like piss. What the
Hours and hours of phone calls, designs that we liked and designs that we hated.
The 5 final fonts that we're picking out in the middle of the flipping night.
That first thing that we had was a monstrosity.
There is no chance in hell that anyone is trying any of those and going, wow, yeah. They'll go,
and what did you say?
Yeah, it's quite nice.
It's quite nice.
It's not been easy. We've fallen out quite a bit.
didn't kill each other somehow. If it doesn't taste as good but different, if it's not as good, it's pointless.
This is hard. This is difficult.
So here we are. 12 months of messaging each other late at night and first thing in the morning.
And we're still talking, we're still amicable.
That's impressive.
Well done.
We made it. We made it. We made this project harder than it needed to be because we wanted to be involved every single step of the way. We didn't step into an existing product, an existing project where someone said, here's a formulation, throw your names on the front of it. We were here from before day one.
The problem that we're trying to fix for customers is that they feel like they're built for more. They feel like they should be able to do more, and there is something getting in the way of them fulfilling their potential. It's like, you're already enough, but we need to unlock that potential. And you can unlock that by using the drink. Power Your Productivity is a lot more soft, I think, than Fuel Your Focus. It doesn't have anywhere near as much punch.
Last night, by the way, I was on the way to train at 6 p.m. So I went into a servo and I was like, oh, I really need something to pick me up because I'm tired, but I don't want to have too much caffeine. I can't sleep. So I bought a bottle of instead of a bottle of, and I actually became our demographic for that kind of evening pickup. And it tasted like piss. It was the worst tasting thing I've ever had. It literally, I was driving down the road saying out loud, what the and it filled me with hope that as long as we bring the message and the market together and create something that tastes good, we can do very well.
For quite a while, I'd been thinking that I would love to do a nootropic energy drink of some kind. And I'd had it in my head for ages, and I moved out to America, and the wellness scene out there is way more progressive. I started talking to your manager, my tour manager, Luke, and said, I'd really love to do like some sort of brain-enhancing cognitive performance drink. And he said, James is working on one of those. And I thought,
but that was a long time ago. If I'm honest, to me, before the events, before the shows, before anything, the most important thing for me was priming myself. And if I was a diva about anything, it was, right, I need to be ready for what I'm about to do, more cognitively and more mentally than anything else. So my passion for energy drinks, nootropics as well, for years, I've almost been self-medicating a desire to be productive, alert, and cognitively my best.
Someone called you a connoisseur.
Almost, yeah. And literally, it's been a 10-year journey without even realizing, from pre-workouts to supplementation to all these different things. When we started the project, I already had a pretty good base understanding. I was like, cool, this is what I've used, this is what I recommend, this is what I don't. This was efficacious, this one wasn't. The one thing that really excited me about this was that before, when I had this concept in my mind of having something that could help people be more productive or focused, part of me, used pre-workouts to get ready, and the grittiness, you fall out of love with anything that you mix with water for too long. And then supplementation, taking pills. Again, my favorite way of getting myself ready for a training session, whatever it is having like a nice beverage.
It's an enjoyable experience, right?
Yeah.
And you can throw it in a bag, you can do whatever. Speaking of that, can we open these now? Because I'm thirsty.
Oh yeah,
Right.
thank God.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. So why is it so important to you that we were to create a productivity drink over an energy drink?
The reason that we made this product is for the challenges that both of us face. And we know that we are not alone. We did a survey of more than 15,000 of our combined audience members about what they were struggling with most. And staying focused, having energy that doesn't crash and go through highs and lows throughout the day, not getting distracted when they're trying to stay on task. Like, we made this for those people. Like, we took the research and we ensured that this fixes the problem that they have. As far as I can see, we've been keeping our eyes on this market for a long time. There's nothing on the market that actually does what we wanted it to do. When I started Modern Wisdom, that was the podcast that I wanted to listen to when I was younger. And Neutonic is the drink that I wanted to drink, but wasn't available.
There are a lot of people that are working on tasks that need good focus and attention. There are people that need their abilities stretched to the limits. And it's them now to know that there's more than a cup of coffee from the coffee machine that they can lean on, I feel is liberating. So the fact that people can, you know, legitimately, as it says in the tagline, feel their focus better is an exciting thing to me.
Well, we made it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like actually, like hours and hours and hours of phone calls and voice notes and photos backwards and forwards and designs that we liked and designs that we hated and color palettes and studies and all sorts of stuff. So much of that went back and forth. I feel so much more connected to this because I know every single thing that's on the back of the can. I know all of the different Pantones that we went through, like hundreds and hundreds of different color combinations. How wide is the eye going to be?
Whether or not we were to have 5 things on the side or we were going to have 3.
Yeah, is it research-backed nootropic ingredients or is it research-backed nootropic
Or
ingredients?
the 5 final fonts that we had for the title that we're picking out in the middle of the flipping night.
You may now be able to see why it's taken 12 months for us to get this across the line. But I feel genuinely connected to this, which is nice.
And even if you were to rewind over a year, I've been trying to sell people into this before we even created it. So I've been saying to people, okay, you've got to get the right amount of caffeine, but that's not just the only thing you need. What you need is other compounds that can help you concentrate for longer periods of time. And then when I was recommending people, they're like, okay, so I need caffeine, I need this. And then they look like they would shake if they were to take everything they needed. So the fact that I can take that same passion that I have towards productivity and then put it in line of our project, just, yeah, gets me excited.
So then obviously we discussed about some sort of illustration, and I think might just slightly tweak this, but see if you guys like it. Obviously we were going hard on the eye, but if you were to think of the eye, it could be a bit more relaxed, but in terms of as a design, it looks pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I think both of those are really interesting. I love the two-tone. What do you think, James?
I really like the two-tone as well. The eyes look a little bit stoned. You know, like...
Doesn't scream alerts to me. I have to say I'm really, really big fan of that eye. Which I, like, if you'd said we're going to put a huge pair of eyes on it, I would not have guessed.
If we were to say, right, guys, blindly, you've got to, without looking, get a pen and paper and design the can of what looks like, what looks like, people would actually probably have quite a phasey, foggy idea of what the can looked like. And now so many of these new cans coming to market look the same. Someone only needs to see us mention this once to never forget what it looks like a police lineup. You know, like, you're not going to foggy the water. Someone puts a gun to your head. What did the can look like? Oh, was it two-tone? Did it say this? I quite like the fact that we use the eye to catch people's attention, which is the one thing we're all fighting for, to maintain our attention. So there's a bit of a story with that as well, where...
Like this. So I look.
It's just cool.
We did probably closer to 4 months of taste testing remotely. I mean, that first thing that we had was a monstrosity.
I would absolutely not go to market with that. There is no way that we could take that to market. We can just like cast that one off, I think. That's still not right to me for 4.
I like 4. 4's the leader. 4's overtaken 2.
I would say that 4's the best, but there's still not there. Let's say that I bring Huberman on the show, or you sit down with like fucking Bartlett or whatever, and you like toss a can across to him. There is no chance in hell that anyone is trying any of those and going, wow, yeah. They'll go, I don't mean to be like, I understand that I'm being Captain Negativo over here. I just think we have to nail the taste. Like, it's so important that we nail this.
That first ever version that we tasted. And what did you say?
Yeah, it's quite nice. Do you know what? I think
it's quite nice.
I used to work in a pub back in the day. There was, you know, lime soda. It was a basic drink. It kept me busy. Maybe I was tasting nostalgia of a cheap, horrible drink.
Lime and soda. So cordial with soda water.
So I'm thinking it was
two things that don't really have any taste to them.
I think it was a nostalgic taste I was getting. Maybe it was taking me back to, you know, young James when he was 18, 19.
Yeah, whatever you say.
The video can even be like, I'm never working with James again.
I'm in the UK doing the final taste testing for our very own productivity drink. But we have had some troubles getting the taste right. I'm here for 40 hours. I'm going to go and live in the factory tomorrow for an entire day, do a ton of sampling, a ton of testing. And by the time that we are finished, we're going to have a drink that is going to knock your testicles off. We've got research-backed, evidence-based ingredient profile, the right levels of everything. Everything is right, except for the fact that we haven't got the flavor right. And if we don't get the flavor right on this batch, tomorrow, we miss the production run, we miss summer, and we give everybody else that is launching this stuff even more of a head start than we already have, because I haven't been able to decide on stuff for 6 months.
And I'll have to go back to selling PDF training programs to keep the electricity on this winter.
Oh, so this one. So I actually want to do that one left then.
No, because we're going to do this.
So one's 5 times the price in a smaller can, or.
So I don't disagree. The only thing is, if it doesn't taste as good but different, if it's not as good, it's pointless.
We all agree.
Yeah. Now, I would say if you love it, then
It's Megan.
we don't have to have another round.
Cheers. Bottoms up. Bottoms up, gentlemen.
Expecting to try this.
Yeah, of course.
It's quite heavy.
That is a heavy flavour.
And it's going to get more and more caffeinated, these arguments today.
Well, I like the carbonation as well.
I actually don't like that versus the last one. I think
Possible drink. This is hard. This is difficult.
That's what you said.
So there's things you legally have to put on there. So it's
I like that.
It's not bad.
That's money. Oh, thank God.
best thing I tasted all day. Isn't it, Chris?
you gotta say this.
That's pretty nice.
15 hours later, we have come up with several flavour profiles. It's not been easy. We've fallen out quite a bit.
Didn't kill each other somehow.
But I'm excited because, in all honesty, we brought the most popular flavours and we put ours next to theirs, and by the end of it, I can't believe people are selling those disgusting flavours.
Wiped the floor with them. Wipes the floor with all of them. Took so long to get this base right, and now we have a signature flavour profile, which is nicer than everything that everybody's selling. It's wild. Formulation was actually relatively simple in terms of what we were going to put in. The team came back with a pretty obvious hierarchy of what was the most evidence-based, what had the most reliable human-based trials in healthy adults, and it's what we put in here. The expensive part was that we all wanted to make sure it was in efficacious doses. So we didn't just want to say, oh, there's a proprietary blend, there's a little sprinkling of a few different things so that we can claim that it's got these different things in it. We actually wanted to make sure that it was a dosage to actually be effective.
And as part as the story was going for this, so when we first looked at the ingredients that we were going to put into the drink, I actually then went to other people that had no idea I was working on a project, and I actually said to them I was doing a hit piece. And I said, there's this supplement mix of ingredients out there. I think it's rubbish. Can you help me do a hit piece? So I sent it off to someone in the evidence-based community, and he came back and he pretty much said, like, you're going to really struggle because these ingredients are legit. And then I told him, I said, actually, thank God for that. Thank God for that. I was like, oh. And,
imagine if he'd said, yeah, mate, all rubbish. Get it,
yeah.
Take it down.
So that was a very, great part in the beginning to make sure that we were on the right tracks and we weren't living in an echo chamber of, deciding what was in it. But yeah, I'm really happy with the ingredients and how they make me feel.
I guess one of the questions, especially given what you've been talking about on YouTube recently, that a lot of the audience will be thinking is, what's in it? Why did you choose the things that are in it? So why don't we spend a little bit of time explaining that?
One important thing to note is that we're not citing studies and trials that's primary subject is rats, old people, or those with Parkinson's or Alzheimer's.
One of the key ingredients that we included is cognizin. Cognizin is a heavily studied cytokinin that impacts focus, attention, and memory.
A study from 2015 found that adolescent males receiving cognizin every day for 28 days showed improved attention compared to adolescent males who received a placebo for the same period.
Similarly, a study on 60 healthy adult women aged between 40 and 60 showed that when supplementing 500 milligrams of cognizin, they made significantly fewer commission errors compared to those in the placebo group. This shows an increase in attention. This is why we put 500 milligrams, a full half gram of cognizin, into this drink. So a couple of years ago, I was taking a anticholinergic that was just like prescribed by the doctor. It was something that I needed to take. No big deal, but I started taking it. And then one day I was at the beach and I forgot the name of the small seaside town next to Manchester, Blackpool. And for 3 minutes, I couldn't remember Blackpool. And what had happened was they doubled my dose of this anticholinergic about a week and a half before. I didn't realize that choline is a key neurotransmitter. Cognizin is a branded cytokinin. So it's doing the opposite of what happened when I took that anticholinergic. Largely, both of us are cognitive athletes, right? That's how I see my job. And I'm really, really in tune with the texture of my mind. So if something's off, I know straight away. If I haven't slept enough, if I'm not hydrated, if I've eaten too much sugar, and then I take this anticholinergic thing, and it's just like 30% of my RAM has just been ripped out from underneath me, and my thoughts are muddy. It was awful. So yeah, I think having such a massive dose, the maximum legal dose that we can get of cognizin in this, I was so confident, even just coming in, having had that one experience, that I was really uncomfortable, to be honest. Like, I really hated it. I'm like, oh, maybe this is me for the rest of, like the same sensation you have if you ever smoke too much weed. You're like, I'm going to be stuck like this forever. I'm never going to be able to remember Blackpool again. And yeah, so cognizin, very, very important for me.
The other ingredient we included was rhodiola rosea, which is a powerful adaptogen. Adaptogens are plant extracts that impact the way your body responds to stress and fatigue.
A study on nurses working in high-stress environments collected data in categories such as mental fatigue, concentration over time, and short-term memory. It found that there was a statistically significant improvement in all 3 tests,
meaning that in these cases, rhodiola rosea had helped with relieving stress induced by fatigue.
So, if it helps these healthcare professionals working in life and death scenarios, it can help you do your emails.
Rhodiola rosea is an interesting one because I've been a human guinea pig trying a lot of these things for quite a while. I've been mentioning them in videos for 6 to 12 months. And this one, I remember I was supplementing at the time. I was doing a pretty stressful business talk in the Gold Coast, and I noticeably felt better. As time went throughout the day, usually as we get to about 2, 3 p.m., I start crashing a bit, fly through, feeling better, wondering if whether or not I was just getting better at talking. Turns out I wasn't. And the rhodiola
You
rosea,
might have been getting better at talking as well.
probably not. So yeah, I've got first-hand experience of that one where after that event and supplementing, that became a non-negotiable for me moving forward.
Another ingredient we included is Panax ginseng.
The primary active compounds in Panax ginseng are ginsenosides. These ginsenosides aid the body in adjusting to a range of mental and physical challenges while fostering a sense of equilibrium and well-being.
The use of ginseng for cognitive augmentation has a long history, rooted in traditional medicine, particularly in East Asian cultures.
A double-blind placebo-controlled study comparing 30 healthy adults supplementing Panax ginseng against a placebo control group found that Panax ginseng can improve cognitive performance and feelings of mental fatigue during sustained mental activity.
This sustained focus is exactly what lots of people struggle with. As your day continues, you notice that your ability to focus degrades over time. You continue to pump more caffeine into yourself, hoping that it's going to help you control whatever it is you've got in front of you. So, this is why Panax ginseng is a big advantage.
First day that it came up, ordered some online. I was like, look, I'm going to try this out, see what it's like. And yeah, over time, that was one that I then became quite proud of having it as an ingredient in the drink.
The ginseng reduction in being distracted by different tasks, I think for me as well, was pretty important, because if I'm trying to research a guest, if I'm trying to stay focused whilst having a conversation with somebody, that's the most important thing. Like, the energy is great, but not getting distracted, not moving on to other tasks, all of that combined together. So I did this event in LA probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago. That week, I did 8 episodes in 3 states in 7 days. And then I did 6 episodes between Vegas and LA in 4 days, 2 a day for 2 of the days and 1 a day for the 2 on either side. And there's no way that I would have been able to get through it had I not have been using that. One of the ingredients that we decided to include was caffeine.
Caffeinated beverages have been consumed by people for centuries.
One problem with being overly reliant on caffeine is it's not fantastic for your sleep. And if you start to use it too much, the next day you're going to need more caffeine to achieve the same effect. Only having one lever to press, which is the caffeine lever, is not good, which is why we knew that caffeine on its own wasn't enough. This is why we added l-theanine. L-theanine is a natural amino acid that is mainly found in tea leaves.
L-theanine is thought to enhance alpha brainwave activity. The relaxed but alert mental state associated with alpha waves can promote creativity, focus, and attention. During a randomized and controlled trial on the combination of L-theanine and caffeine, the data showed an improvement in both speed and accuracy of performance of an attention-switching task, and reduced susceptibility to distracting information in the memory task.
The use cases for this are obvious and plain. I think the average amount of time that any knowledge worker spends on a single task is under 60 seconds now. It's like 40 seconds, and task switching is unbelievably destructive to your productivity. L-theanine and caffeine are the perfect partners. With caffeine, you get the alertness and the reduction in sleepiness, and with L-theanine, you get the relaxed mental state. So you're able to be focused on the task in hand, and you're also going to be sufficiently relaxed that you can actually perform and feel good about it. So a big one for me, what I knew that we had to have in from before we even started working together, I knew that there had to be L-theanine in, because after 500 days without caffeine, my caffeine tolerance is so sensitive that I need L-theanine to smooth that out. So you kind of have this, it's almost like a little bit of a seesaw, right? You get agitated by the caffeine, which is good because it makes you less sleepy and it makes you more alert. But what it also does is it can make you feel a little bit kind of uptight, and it can sometimes make your brain feel a little bit scattered. And the L-theanine, for me, I'd been taking tablets of L-theanine just with coffees because that was the only way that I could really have a coffee when I came back after having a break from caffeine. So yeah, I knew that we had to have L-theanine in, which has ended up making the whole experience less like a rush, less like getting punched in the face, and more like accelerating really nicely in a fast car. I think you did ask people, what's the #1 productivity drink on the planet? And they go, coffee? No, well, that's not a productivity drink, is it? It's not been designed for productivity. It happens to be a useful drink that has some productivity enhancing effects that come along for the ride. But this is purpose-built from the ground up. The dose of caffeine, not overshooting over 120 milligrams, which I had to fight with you to get it down from, because you can be a bit of a caffeine fiend, and I'm like a caffeine wimp after taking such a big break. And I think that 120 milligrams is bang on the dose that we want, especially with the L-theanine to kind of smooth it out. Bang on the dose. You can sit down. It tastes so nice that you're going to chin it if it's cold and if you're thirsty. And if you down 200, 300 milligrams of caffeine in 5 minutes, guess what? Like, you're vibrating your way through a near anxiety attack for the next half hour or 2 hours. So it's the right amount for me. It makes me feel fantastic.
This is my favorite flavor.
This is mine. I'm such a sucker for orange, man. Anything orange, I'm always a big fan of. One other thing that I guess it's not a claim that we've made anywhere on the product, but the difference it makes to my mood, I associate this taste with being more focused, with being more productive. So there's this weird, vicious feedback loop of me liking the taste of it and liking the effect of it, which means that when I taste it next, I get ready for the effect to happen. And it's kind of this spiral now. And also, over time, this isn't just something that you take now. In fact, this is like a really important point that we made from the very beginning. It couldn't be a drink. It couldn't be a product that borrows from tomorrow to pay today. It had to be something that would make you perform better today. And then if you took it tomorrow, make you perform even better tomorrow. And then after that, and so on and so on. It bridges the gap really nicely between performance enhancer and supplement. And I think that blend between the two it's rare to find. Every time that I drink most energy drinks, it feels like I am cashing out of tomorrow's energy to be able to fuel today. You know that really famous meme photo of Homer Simpson like throttling Bart? And we're fighting each other a little bit.
It's going well. It's going well. What we've got, I'm happy.
James is also about 300 milligrams of caffeine deep, so that may explain
I know he feels the way he does.
The name, oh my God, you were ready to take the first name that we came up with, and I must have caused another subsequent 10 meetings. You wanted to call it Bump.
Yeah, have a bump.
Have a bump. Slap? Wasn't slap one of them?
Nah.
Cheat, that was it. You wanted to call it cheat.
Are you cheating on me?
Yeah, relatively harmonious, I think, working relationship, especially given how awkward I've been. So we're going to sit down in this factory tomorrow, right, and taste all of these different drinks, flavors that we've got pretty close on. James said yes to the first one. Everybody else was like, this is awful. We can't go ahead with this. James was ready to ship it. James was ready to put a can of Bump that tasted like the top filtering of a septic tank and ship it. It would have been on sale already.
Okay.
So you twist the...
Okay.
One sec.
Still got it. Still got it. Never had it. Doesn't even know what it is.
You're enjoying this. You don't want to be in Austin right now.
Shouting at you.
My name's Chris, and I talk to famous people. And because of that, I had to spend the day with James Smith today. And
Every so often I give back to the community. Giving back to the community means bringing someone along who is disadvantaged in many ways.
I don't care what everyone said about your podcast in the first year. I liked it.
What do you think would have happened to the process of creating this had it not been for me?
Would have been done a lot sooner. But to be honest, okay, maybe I will concede on the fact that my taste buds may be a little bit basic. But then if I was to flip the question over to you, Chris, how do you think the process would have been if you were left to do the project on your own?
Oh God, we would have not been anywhere near market. I would have still been in the name planning stage. Luke would have killed me. The guys that were producing it, they would have killed me as well. Another thing that we did is launch in America and the UK on Amazon with Prime next day delivery from launch.
I suppose what we wanted was a massive part of our audience to be able to try what we've created. And I mean, as far as an investment for this to happen as well, right? This is
It's the most amount of money that I've ever put into anything ever. And plus you, plus all of the guys behind the scenes as well. It's a terrifying amount of money. I think it's a really important product. I think that right now this move toward holistic productivity, right? It's a ecological, well-balanced approach to productivity. It's not sort of nose to the grindstone, completely destroy yourself. It's, I want to work really, really hard at the things that I do. I want to feel satisfied at the end of the day. And then I want to go and do something else. Maybe before you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because something else that you haven't said, it's only lightly carbonated. So we wanted to make sure that it wasn't such heavy carbonation that it destroys the taste. The taste's so good, and super high carbonation actually ruins how something tastes. So we dialed that back so it doesn't give you any like digestive discomfort, especially if you drink it quickly.
I suppose what we want is for not just to crank people so they put more effort into something, but they become more effective at what they're doing. So yeah, for us to be able to get it everywhere so that people can have the ability to have it, for all of these things are conversations we've been having for so long to make sure that it is legitimately the right thing for that. Like you say, it could be going to jiu-jitsu, could be studying at home, could be, you know, needing a little pick-me-up in the afternoon where you're having a postprandial lull in the office or whatever it is.
Yeah, I guess, you know, if any of the things that we've spoken about today resonate with people, then they can go and try it. It's available on Amazon. It's got next day delivery on Amazon Prime. You can go to Neutonic.com. It's got all of the science on there. Every single study that we've spoken about today is detailed at Neutonic.com. It's got all of the references if you want to go and see the original research. It's got our interpretations of it. It's got everything that's on there. So yeah, if people think that this sounds like something that they need in their lives, go to Neutonic.com or search on Amazon for Neutonic, and you can get it literally tomorrow.
We've gone to a lot of effort to create this for you, and this drink can't actually help you unless you buy it. So head to Amazon, get yourself a case, and don't just take our word for it. We're sat here, well, it's amazing, it tastes amazing. You get to find out for yourself.
Buy it, put it in the fridge, be more productive.
Enjoy it.